What's up, guys? About to give you guys my week 4 predictions for the NFL on who I think's going to win and who I think's going to lose. In case you guys didn't see my last video on the week 3 predictions, pretty simple the way this works. Look at the matchup and put the team in win or loss, whether I think they're going to win or I think they're going to lose, and then give you guys my thoughts and opinions based on the matchup. So the first game for week 4 this week is on Thursday, obviously. The Dolphins versus the Bengals. They got the line -4 Cincinnati here. This is going to be a really close game, and I'm really excited for this game as well. I think I got to go with the Dolphins here, simply because of last week's performance against the Bills. Obviously, the Dolphins played in a really hot environment, so the Bills were getting a little bit gassed out quicker than normally, plus they had a lot of injuries. But they still managed to beat one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NFL, in an incredible performance. Tua's playing great. That offense looks incredible. Defensively, they have really good pass rush. And I think that's the biggest takeaway for this matchup going into Thursday, is how good the Dolphins pass rush is with Melvin Ingram and Emmanuel Ogbah. This O-line for the Bengals is not going to be able to hold up again. And Joe Burrow is going to get sacked a bunch, and it's going to lead to more turnovers, just like it has been for the entirety of this season so far. And while the Bengals defense has been looking pretty solid recently, I don't know how well they're going to hold up and manage to keep up with the Dolphins, because their offense is severely lacking because that O-line sucks. And so because of that, got to go with the Dolphins here. Next up, we got the early London game, the Vikings versus the Saints. They got the line at -3 for the Vikings here. This is going to be a really close game, and it's honestly a toss-up to decide who's going to win this game. However, you got to pick your upsets, and I think the Saints are going to be able to beat the Vikings here. The offense is going to bounce back after having 2 really underperforming weeks against the Panthers and the Buccaneers. Historically, the Vikings have struggled against Alvin Kamara, and if he comes back and plays healthy and doesn't play like he did in week 3 against Carolina, I think the Vikings are going to, again, struggle against Alvin Kamara. The way the Vikings have been playing recently on offense, not being able to get the ball into Justin Jefferson's hands, it's going to continue to struggle like that against Marshawn Lattimore. And I don't know, man. I don't trust this Vikings offense right now, while I do trust the Saints defense. And I think the Saints, like I said, are going to have a bounce-back week for offensively. Alvin Kamara is going to have a good game. And if that's the case, the Saints are going to have a great time in this game. Next up, we got the Browns versus the Falcons. They got the line at -1.5 for Cleveland. Again, another toss-up. These are gonna be some close games this week, man. Browns versus Falcons. It's tough to say because the Browns have a really good win against the Steelers on Thursday Night Football last week, but it's against the Steelers offense, who are one of the, notoriously worst offenses in the league right now, with Mitchell Trubisky being that head quarterback. But then on the other side, you got the Falcons, who have also been kind of struggling on offense. That being said, they did manage to almost come back against the Rams, and they played a really good game and won against the Seahawks, but I'm still going to go with the Browns. Amari Cooper looks like a beast. Nick Chubb looks like a beast, and I think that's what it's going to come down to, is can their secondary hold Amari Cooper to less than 100 yards, and can they stop the run in Nick Chubb? And I think the answer is no. So I think the Browns are going to come out with a win on this one. Next up, you got the Commanders versus the Cowboys. They got the line at -3 for Dallas here. This is going to be a wash. The Cowboys are going to absolutely smoke the Commanders. Based off of weeks 2 and 3 for the Commanders, they struggle against really good pass rush defenses. And when Carson Wentz has no time, they're going to get slaughtered. And Dallas is one of the best pass rush defenses in the league. Micah Parsons is going to have a field day, and the Commanders are going to just absolutely get blown out here. Next up, we got the Seahawks versus the Lions. They got the line at -4 for Detroit. I mean, this is also another given. I think Detroit is going to... It could end up being a really sneaky shootout, but I still think the Lions are going to whoop the Seahawks. Amon-Ra might not play, which is a concern, but even if he doesn't play, they still got TJ Hawk, they still got DJ Chark, and defensively, the Seahawks aren't going to do anything when it comes to Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to get in the backfield and shred Geno Smith, and Geno Smith's not going to be able to get it into DK Metcalf's hands because he hasn't been able to for the entirety of the season. So next up, we got the Titans versus the Colts. They got the line at -3.5 for Indianapolis. Again, another toss-up. Very similar teams here. But I'm going with the Colts here simply because the Titans look so terrible this year. They get a win over the Raiders, but the Raiders also look like one of the worst teams in the league right now, and Josh McDaniels is a horrible head coach. So to get a win over the Raiders is not impressive. They're one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to the run game, which is crazy to say because they have Derrick Henry on their team. This game's just going to come down to who's going to run the ball better, and I think the Colts are going to be able to do that. Although, it's also another weird one where both the D-lines are solid, and so they're going to come into a stalemate where their running backs are going to start to struggle to find holes, and then they got to rely on the pass game and play actions, and I like Matt Ryan over Ryan Tannehill better there, so I think the Colts are going to come out with a dub here. Plus, they're at home. Indianapolis is a pretty good stadium to play in, so going with the Colts. Next up, we got the Bears versus the Giants. The line is -3 for the Giants. I think the Giants are going to easily win this game. The Bears look absolutely horrible. There's nothing going on with that offense right now, and it's almost the same scenario as the Indy Titans game, where they're going to run the ball, but they're going to come into the stalemate where they're not going to be able to run the ball. And then it's going to be Daniel Jones versus Justin Fields. And while I like Justin Fields way more, he has been struggling really hard to get the ball into his playmakers. And the play calling from Matt Eberflus is just not... It's a little questionable against some of these teams. Whereas the Giants, really strong weeks 1 and 2. Decent performance in week 3. I think the Giants are going to come out with a win here. Next up, we got the Jags versus the Eagles. Ooh, I'm so excited for this game. They got the line at -6.5 Philly. I think this game's going to be a sneaky shootout because it's going to be a good game to watch. You got Trevor Lawrence, who's proving that he wants to be him, versus Jalen Hurts, who's proving that he wants to be MVP. It's going to be really, really close, but I still have to take the Eagles here, absolutely. I think when it comes down to it, it's what team looks better on pen and paper, the Jags or the Eagles. The Eagles just have a way better squad overall. The Jags are going to struggle offensively against that secondary. That being said, the Jags are one of the best teams in the league when it comes to rushing the football. The Eagles have been struggling in the run defense. Next up, we got the Jets versus the Steelers. They got the line at -3 for the Steelers. And honestly, this might be the trap game of the week here. You got to pick your upsets here. I'm going to go with the Jets. I know it's crazy to say this, but I'm going to go with the Jets to win this game. Zach Wilson is cleared to play for this game. So I don't know how good Zach Wilson's going to do. But looking at the Jets offense overall, I like the Jets offense way better than I like the Steelers offense right now, which is honestly insane to say. Joe Flacco is top 5 in the league when it comes to total passing yards. Their defense is still atrocious. The Jets defense will get enough done. The Jets have already managed to make an insane comeback too against a decent team. I think the Jets might be able to come out with this win here. Also, Michael Carter and Breece Hall are going to have an insanely good game against that Steelers defense. It also comes down to how well's Najee going to do for them offensively too, because Najee hasn't been able to do anything for the Steelers. I could definitely see the Steelers winning this game, and if they do, I wouldn't be shocked. But I like the Jets odds more than I like the Steelers odds because I like their offense better than the Steelers offense. Next up, we got the Bills versus the Ravens. Oh, man, this is going to be a fantastic game, and I'm really excited for this one. They got the line at -3 for Buffalo, and I don't know. This is I don't know what to do here. I really don't. I got to take the Bills here. Yes, the Bills still have a ton of injuries going into this game. Jordan Poyer might not play. Ed Oliver might not play. Dane Jackson might not play. Jordan Phillips might not play. But I still like the Bills better than the Ravens here because Josh Allen is going to have a field day against the Ravens defense. The Ravens have let up the most points as a defense in the entirety of the league. That being said, I think their defense is still pretty solid, but I think Josh Allen is just going to have an absolute field day against their secondary. As good as their secondary is, because they've shown in previous weeks that they love to just let the opposing team put up a ton of points. It's going to be a close one, and I honestly wouldn't be shocked if the Ravens won this game because Lamar's going to do Lamar things, and I don't think the Bills defense can stand a single chance against Lamar, especially if Jordan Poyer doesn't play. I don't see the Bills defense managing to do anything against the Ravens offense. I just like Josh Allen's odds a little bit more than Lamar Jackson's odds, so I got to go with the Bills. Next up, we got the Chargers versus the Texans. They got the line -5 for the Chargers. Pretty self-explanatory here. Got to go with the Chargers. Take a massive L to the Jaguars last week, but I still think the Chargers got this in the bag. The Texans just don't look good. They haven't been able to get much done offensively. struggle against the Bears, who have a decent defense. I don't know, man. The Chargers are going to whop them. Cardinals versus the Panthers. They got the line at -1.5 for the Cardinals. I got to go with the Cardinals. I was thinking about going the Panthers, but I got to go with the Cardinals. It's going to be a close game. They're playing in Carolina, which is really good for Carolina. I don't think their defense is going to play like they did last week against the Saints against Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is going to play Madden on them, and he's going to run around and get it to Zach Ertz, and they're not going to be able to stop that pass game. That being said, if Baker can stop playing like a bum and get the ball into DJ Moore's hands, because there were so many times where DJ Moore was open against the Saints and he didn't pass it to him once on any of those times, I think that they have a chance. Is it going to happen? Probably not, because Matt Rule's a bad head coach. But we'll see. This game could be way closer than a lot of people expect. Next up, got the Patriots versus the Packers. The line is -9.5 for the Packers. Oh my God. What does Vegas see that I don't see? I don't know if the Packers win this game. Unless Max... Okay, you know what? If Mac doesn't play, the Packers win. 1,000%. But if Mac does play, dude, I might have the Patriots beating the Packers. I'm going to go on the safe side here and say that Mac doesn't play and the Packers win this game. Even if Mac does play, it's going to be tough for the Patriots still because they're playing in Lambeau. I really like this Patriots defense going up against the Packers offense. The Packers offense sucks. It is absolutely tragically trash. And the Patriots defense looks pretty solid right now. Bad week against the Ravens last week, but the Ravens are probably the second best offense in the league right now. The Packers are not a good team in my opinion. Plus, their offense is absolutely garbage. And I don't know how well Aaron Rodgers is going to do against a good pass rush because he didn't do well against a good pass rush last week against the Bucs. So, I don't know, man. I think that the Packers defense is going to kill the Patriots, and it's going to come down to if Mac plays, are they going to be able to move the chains and move the ball effectively and actually make progressions? Because if not, it's just going to be another stalemate like the Bucs game, and the Packers are going to end up winning that stalemate yet again. So I'm going to go safe here. I'm going to go with the Packers. Would not be shocked if the Patriots win this game if Mac plays. Next up, we got the Broncos versus the Raiders. And I think this is the game that is going to be trap game of the week, potentially. I could definitely see the Raiders coming out and winning this game. They got the line -2.5 for the Raiders as well. I'm going to go with the Raiders winning this game here. I don't see the Broncos doing anything against the Raiders offensively. They put up 11 points last week against the 49ers. 11. That is absolutely terrible. In an entire hour of football, 4 quarters of football, they put up 11 points. Their offense looks truly terrible. That being said, the Broncos have one of the best defenses in the league, so they're definitely going to be able to keep up with the Raiders offense, especially because of how hard they are struggling on offense right now. With Derek Carr kind of underperforming, Devontae Adams not getting the ball as much as he should be getting the ball. I like the Raiders more in this matchup than I do the Broncos. If the Raiders secondary can hold up, which it should be able to because dudes can't even get open downfield for the Broncos, and if Max Crosby comes to play, I think the Raiders will kill the Broncos here because the Broncos aren't going to be able to keep up with their offense because of how bad the Broncos offense is. It is terrible. Chiefs versus Bucks. Another incredible game here. They got the line at -1 for the Chiefs. I got to go with the Chiefs here. Listen, I would not be shocked at all if the Bucks win this game. Last week was a fluke. Sloppy football, bad decision making, bad special teams. The Chiefs are still one of the best teams in the entire league and a Super Bowl favorite. And their team is built way better than the Buccaneers are. And I think if there's one offense I like to go up against probably the best defense in the league right now, it's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. Travis Kelce's going to have a day. Patrick Mahomes is going to have a day like he always does. He's only thrown 1 interception this entire season. If they can get the run game going, it's going to solidify that offense into the Bucs defense. And it's going to be an absolute massacre against the Buccaneers. That being said, still can't count out the Bucs defense, like I was saying, because it's the Bucs defense. And if they get some of their weapons back, Tom Brady doesn't like being shut out and then playing another game being shut out. He's going to come back and ball out probably. So it's going to be a good game, but if they don't get their weapons back offensively, the Bucs aren't going to do anything again, especially against the Chiefs D-line. We got the Rams versus the 49ers. The line is -1.5 for San Fran, but I don't think this is an upset when I say that the Rams are going to win this game. Look, San Fran's defense looks incredible right now. That is nothing to put against them. But Jimmy G looks absolutely abysmal. And against the Rams defense, Jimmy G is going to get absolutely nothing done. Plus, the Rams have San Francisco 49ers number. We all know this. They just lost Trent Williams. They're going to struggle when it comes to running the football without Trent Williams, especially against this D-line on the Rams. Plus, offensively, Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford and Cam Akers, I don't know if the San Francisco 49ers defense is going to be able to keep up against that because they haven't been able to in previous years. So, I got the Rams winning here. It'll probably end up being a close game because it always is. It's a division game. San Francisco 49ers are playing at home. It's probably going to end up being a close game, but I got the Rams winning this game. And that is my predictions for week 4. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I do this every week on Wednesdays, so be sure to check that out next week for week 5 predictions. If you like the video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.